There's not that many great centers, and I'd be Michael Jordan in this era. It's definitely changed the way that teams play, the way everybody wants to spread the floor. Most big guys now, instead of posting up, they want to get out there and shoot threes. And you look at all the big guys, Embiid. He's definitely one of them. He spends the majority of his time at the three-point line. Where when I played, we were mostly in the post. We post up. We may go out to 16, 17 feet, shoot our shots. Myself, Hakeem, David. But now, Porzingis, those guys, they're all three-point shooters.
So does this worry you, upset you? I mean, you guys were dominant big men. This place was built on dominant big men.
Well, it's funny because now that I'm a college coach, so, most of the guys, I'm recruiting everyone. So a lot of the centers, the guys who are supposed to be centers, they're like, Coach, where are you going to play me at? Are you going to space the floor? I want to be able to show my talents. So, because I'm a coach, I see it, and I can't get mad at people. They all think a certain way. But it's funny to me that more guards now post up, and a lot of the bigs now are at the three-point line shooting threes. So it's funny, it's ironic, but I think that as soon as a big like Embiid, and I use him a lot because I think he could be the most dominant big man in the game today. He can pop out and shoot threes every now and then, but get his butt in the blocks and mix it up and go to work, I think that things will change.
I mean, when you're watching him, I do this. When I'm watching the Sixers, I'm like, get away from that three-point line.
Oh, I was last year, especially last year. I watched more, the playoffs a lot last year. And I was like, man, it's all right to pop out and shoot the three sometimes, but especially when they have someone on you that you can dominate. Get your butts in the block and dominate.
Can you just describe to me what it was like when you could take someone into the post and you knew you were going to just demoralize them?
It was great, be it a big player or a small player, whoever. If it was a small player, I'd be telling them, mouse in the house, give me the rock. If it's a big player, I'd either post him up or face him up and, either shoot a shot fake, drive around him, or shoot my face-up shot. I think that was a great feeling to me when I had it rolling. Sometimes I watch guys warm up and they do a million moves, and I'm like, and I tell them, I said, you know what? To me, what worked for me is I had my go-to move. Then when they try to take that away, I had a counter. So you don't need to have or work on a million moves. Just have something that you do and do great, and do it. And then when they try to take that away, you develop a counter to that move, and you could have a long career.
You were a great low post player,
Right?
But that 15-foot jumper was your money shot.
Definitely, that was my go-to shot. My turnaround in the block. Or face up, shoot the shot, face up drive. Those were my go-to move, and I enjoyed doing them.
It's possible, Patrick, that has been rendered obsolete because of the three-point corner shot.
I'm not gonna say it's obsolete. You do have guys that's in the corner who are shooting the three, but for me, you throw the ball in the post. You cut that guy out. You have the three on the other side or up top. But the way the game is played now, most of the time the person who was in the post is a guard. So then you have the big like Porzingis or Embiid at the three-point line shooting threes. But that's just the way the game is, and you have to do what you have to do to survive.
So your friend Roy Hibbert, great player, was the Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick, and then I think it was 3 years later he was completely out of the league.
Well, I had the opportunity to coach Roy in Charlotte, And one of the things I told him is that you can't listen to all the noise about the game has changed. Do what you do and do it best. And unfortunately, it's my opinion that he bought into that. I think that Roy can still play. He can still contribute. Everyone needs someone to be a force on defense, blocking shots, protecting the rim, because that's getting to. I mean, even though a lot of teams shoot threes, people still drive to the basket and try to dunk on you or get layups. So you definitely need someone who can protect the basket.
So you bring up a very good point. One of the reasons teams are getting away from post-ups is because their analytics tell them that threes, dribble handoffs, and drives to the basket are more efficient.
Well, analytics is a part of the game, but I like to, I base all my coaching is based on feel, not just numbers. We do have an analytic person here. I listen to what he has to say, but when I'm coaching based on my feel, what I see, and what I think is going to work, not just by numbers. I remember when I was in the league, Don Nelson was the coach who started spacing the floor, playing small, and every time we played him, at the end of the night, I had 40 points and 20 rebounds. So you have to just dominate.
So you mentioned Joel Embiid as someone you think can do that. Are there others that you see? I mean, what about Zion Williamson? We haven't seen a lot of him yet, but
I haven't really seen Zion play a lot. I saw him at Duke. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete. I think he's going to do great in the league. He's an undersized 4, or maybe if he starts hitting his threes, play the 3. I think he's going to do great, and I think he's one of those people who can dominate. It doesn't have to be a 3-point shooter to be able to dominate a game.
So when you saw Dirk play for the first time, are you like, son, get down on the block? What
Dirk was a very good player. He started out slow, but then he got it going. And to me, I remember when I first came into the NBA and I started shooting jump shots, they used to get on me. Oh, he's not getting into the blocks. He's all he's doing is shooting jump shots. But I developed both. I was able to mix it up in the inside and also get to the perimeter. And I think Dirk was the same. He faced up, he shot the 3, he shot it at the free throw line, and he also got into the post and was able to dominate. So to me, I'm not going to get on that person, but I'm trying to show them all the different ways or areas that they can dominate on the floor.
So the Lakers, it's early. But the first couple of games, they went to Anthony Davis in the post. It was pretty successful. Is that sustainable for them, do you think?
Oh, definitely. Anthony Davis, one of the best players in the league. Both he and LeBron. LeBron will do the same thing. You have to do what you do best. Those two guys, they can post up, they can shoot threes, and they're going to drive it to the basket. They're two of the most dominant players in the league.
So who are the big guys that you looked up to when you were growing up, when you were playing? Who are the guys that stood out to you?
Well, Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt, to name a few. Those were the dominant bigs. Moses Malone in the game when I was coming up.
Do you worry that the big man, the post man, is on life support in the NBA? No, I'm serious.
I'm not worried about it because I think everything goes in circle. At some point things will change. It'll go back the other way. But I think it's all the predicated on that big man. Is he going to follow everybody else and just want to be a 3-point shooter, or is he going to be able, be somebody who's going to use what God has blessed him with and dominate in the post? If you have somebody who has the size and the strength and the skill to be able to dominate inside, then I think that things will change. I think the difference is a lot of bigs have bought into the fact that they have to be 3-point shooters, and that's what, to me, that's why it's changed. With my mindset of myself, Kareem, David, Shaq, we dominated. I could have shot the three, but I know where my bread was buttered. We had other guys on my team that could shoot the three better than me, so I got it done. I got my three the hard way.
So if you were a high school kid today at Cambridge Ridge and Latin, would you be shooting threes, do you think? Would you be one of those kids?
You know, probably, but I also knew where my bread was buttered. I wanted to be in the blocks. That was my game, and it served me right.
So on the defensive side of the basket, you're getting pushed further from the basket because you have to guard. What kind of challenge is that for NBA players today, for NBA bigs to have to be able to guard out there?
Well, I think that if you can do both, if you can guard multiple positions, you're at a premium. I thought that myself, Hakeem, David, the bigs, the dominant bigs in my era, we would have been able to do it. Maybe might not have been able to do it great, but we were athletic enough and agile enough to be able to move our feet and guard the three-point line and then come get back to the paint and block shots or change shots.
Is it important for bigs, you've mentioned about the three-pointing, but is it important for them to evolve in other ways? Handling the ball, being able to pick up players full court. Are there things that bigs need to do to survive today that maybe you wouldn't have had to have done?
I think that the way the game is played right now, the bigs need to be athletic. They need to be able to do a lot of different things. They need to be able to pick up full court, handle the ball, shoot, post up. I think that's just being a basketball player. And the more things that you can do to help your team, the more valuable you are to that team.
So who are the toughest big men for you to guard and why?
The two hardest big men for me to guard was Shaq, being that he was 7'1", 300 plus, raw strength. And when I was playing him, athletic as heck, could get up and down the floor. People don't remember that. And also Hakeem, strength, agile, great athlete. Just all of those two guys were the two toughest for me to guard.
So when you look at all the big men today, we've mentioned some of them, but who most closely resembles you, would you say?
None. I think Embiid is the closest to a guy to my era. With his size, athleticism, he can dominate the inside, but chooses to be on the perimeter. I praise him, and I think that he could be one of the best players to play the game. He just got to learn when to post up and when to step out to the three-point line. Once he figures that out, he's going to be a hard man to keep down.
What about Giannis?
Giannis, he's a wing. Even though he's 6'10", he's more of a wing than a big man. And I mean, he's great. A lot of the things that he can do is amazing. He can guard multiple positions. He's a great defender. He's learning how to shoot. He's taking it out to the three-point line, but he dominates from every position on the floor.
Anthony Davis, probably a 4 more than a 5, right?
More 4 than a 5. He's more perimeter big. Even though he can post up, if he can stay healthy, he is definitely one of the greatest players to play this game.
The evolution of this pace and space game.
Big man could do more.
That's stupid and asinine.
It's cute.
You're better off shooting a 3.
I'd be Michael Jordan in this era.
I'm old school.
You have to adapt or change sports.